Praise to the Allah. Found a car. Found a car.
Birmingham, Alabama. Birmingham, Alabama. Birmingham.
They say they got you, don't believe them. How they treat you, how you treat them. Been a long time coming. We don't want them, we don't need them. Magic City, where you at? They tryna put you on the map. Well, everyone, people, put your hand together for Birmingham, Alabama. 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 You come to my city, you playing, you thinking it's good. Don't be thinking it's sweet, them little they creeping and they coming out like the woods. They coming out like the house. They finna shut down the trap. We finna turn on the city. I put my hood on the map. I put my heart on this beat. Please do not start it with me. We gon' go get it this year, but this shit gon' start in the streets. I'm talking about mine. It's been a long time. Been out here hustling all my life. It's been a long grind. I gotta represent my city, represent my state. I gotta represent my hood, I be there every day. I gotta make sure when I get it, everybody eat. That's why I be up with the birds when everybody sleep. They say they got you, don't believe them. How they treat you, how you treat them. Been a long time coming. We don't want them, we don't need them. Magic City, where you at? They tryna put you on the map. Well, everyone, people, put your hand together for Birmingham, Alabama. 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 We gon' take a ride, we gon' ride around on the north side. Ain't no heaters on, you might not wanna come outside. Is you ready? Well, we finna roll through Inslee.
We got to vote. We have voted ourselves purple. We have won mayors, council people, governors. We put a black man in the Oval Office, the best president this country ever had, the most intelligent, the best family, the only president that went through 8 years and never had a scandal. No blemishes, neither he, his wife, his children, or their dogs got in any trouble.
Birmingham, Alabama. Birmingham, Alabama. Birmingham.
They say they got you, don't believe them. How they treat you, how you treat them. Been a long time coming. We don't want them, we don't need them. Magic City, where you at? They tryna put you on the map. Well, everyone, people, put your hand together for Birmingham, Alabama. Birmingham, Alabama.
How many young black men, young black women, brothers, sisters are going to be gunned down by the local arm of the U.S. military called the police department? We are told by our weaker leadership, oh, you need body cams. So we got the body cams. Now we get to watch our people being killed in HD. And it does not result in justice.
They tell me, can I take it back, y'all? They used to make me feel like I'm the man when I used to trap on that back hall. Back then we ain't call it the trap. Back then we ain't call it the bando. That was back when we just call it the spot. Yeah, shit was hard for the handle.
Protest is a stage of development that any living organism is capable of engaging in to protect itself as it grows into the ability to function independently. The very nature of protest, beloved, means we are without power.
Go ahead.
The most effective protesters on this planet are babies.
Get 'em in, get 'em.
These multinational corporations were able to come into existence from our parents picking cotton
Go ahead.
and
That's right.
tobacco and in the rice fields and building homes and sewing clothing and teaching white people how to eat with a fork and spoon. Because while they were in the caves of Europe, we were kings and queens. Our children were playing with diamonds. It is time to accept our role. What is our set?
This is a good question.
We're not picking cotton.
You don't go right with that Mac 10. I better not catch you slipping, playing around on that back end.
May you prepare for prayer. Let's stand in prayer. Prayer. In the name of our God, the beneficent, the merciful. All praise is due to Allah, the Lord of the world, the beneficent, the most merciful. So, Master of day and judgment, which we now live. Dear Lord, we serve and aid beseech for her. Oh, guide us on the straight path. The path of those upon whom you bestow thy faith, and not the path upon whom ground, nor there know those who go astray, after we heard thy teaching. Amen.
Evening, my name is Minister Aubrey Townsend. I work for the Church of Reconciled out here, an intervention group there, Church of Reconciled. I'm a recovering person that God has blessed me to be in this order of recovery. Carry the message of hope to the city of Birmingham. I was asked to come out and pray a prayer, a prayer of my faith. Glad to be here to take out life. Pray. Soft prayer and meditation to improve my conscious contact with God as I understand God. Praying for the power of His will and the knowledge to carry it out and the power. And the Father, He's going to thank you, Heavenly Father, for allowing us to be here. Thank you for the love, the death, the burial, and resurrection of your Son, Jesus Christ, that we have eternal life. He is going to give you honor and glory and praise for us to be here today for what you have done.
Assalamu alaikum. Normally, our nationalist brother Tikunel Shabazz would open us up with a nationalist prayer, a prayer that was said during the Haitian Revolution, but today I'm going to be saying the nationalist prayer. And so, you would just great God, who created the earth, created the sun that gives us light, who holds up the oceans, who makes the thunder roar. Our God, who has ears to hear us. Though hidden in the clouds, you watch over us. You see that the Caucasians have made us suffer so much. The Caucasian commands us to do filth and indecency, and commands us to do crimes. But our God within wants us to do something morally righteous for ourselves. Our God is so good, so just. He orders us to reclaim our own. He will direct our path and grant us total victory over the hypocrite and disbelieving people. He will assist us with our ancestors' spirit. Throw away the image of the white man's God and listen to the inner voice of freedom. Peace and blessings, brothers and sisters.
How's everybody today? I'd like to thank each and every one of you for coming out. My name is Brother Ava Muhammad. I am also part of the Habitat Coffee Party.
Have That Coffee Party is part of a few groups that are sponsoring this national tour. You do not know what the name of the program today is? It's the National Town Hall Tour of Integration Has Failed. And we are in the beautiful city of Birmingham, Alabama, in the beautiful Birmingham Civil Rights Institute, right across the street from the 16th Street Church, where 4 little black girls were bombed by the KKK with 15 sticks of dynamite in 1963. Isn't that amazing that we're doing this Integration Has Failed town hall meeting right across the street where Dr. Martin Luther King said that was the most horrific act of terrorism there ever was. Amazing, isn't it? Things come full circle, don't they? Well, I'd like to welcome you. Sit back, relax. You're going to hear a powerful program, especially from the national representative, national spokesperson, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, Sister Dr. Ava Muhammad. I'd like to welcome you, Dr. Ava Muhammad, and your husband, Darius, your daughter, Sherelle. I'd like to also welcome and thank Southern Regional Minister Sharif Muhammad from Atlanta, Miles number 15 for coming. Thank you, sir, and your staff. And the local minister, Tremont Muhammad, and Reverend Aubrey. Thank you so much for coming out. You could have been anywhere in the world at this time if you decided to come here. Really want to thank you and appreciate you. Now, there's a thing that we do during this time. We've done this is our 5th one? Sixth one that we've done all across the United States. We did the first one in Baton Rouge. We did also Washington, D.C. at Howard University and a few other places. There's a thing that we say during this program, and it goes like this here. How much more integration can the black community bear? Your response will be, no more. You can't take it. No more. It's killing us. No more. It's killing us. Let's try it one time. How much integration can the black community bear? No more. It's killing us. One more time. How much more integration can the black community bear? No more. It's killing us. Got it. So all during the program, that question will come up, and that will be your response. So we'd like to also thank each and every one of you for coming, participating. Go on Facebook, tweet on Twitter, respond, tell people about the Hot Black Coffee Party. And I'll give you a little background on the Hot Black Coffee Party. This is our mission statement. The mission statement of the Hot Black Coffee Party. 1, to bridge the gap between social activism, political activism, and economic activism. 2, to study, improve, and motivate black thought. Now I want to stop there for one moment. We have a book which was written by our illustrious Dr. Ava Muhammad called The Study Guides. No. Mr. Farrakhan wrote it, but you took the dictation. Yes, that's not about right. Let's clear that up. She didn't write it. She took the dictation. Now, this is what I'm telling you we need to improve and motivate black thought. That's right. Every answer you ever want to any question is in here. Get this book. You will be motivated, and your thought process will improve so that you can make your place, your home, a safe and decent place to live, and your neighborhood a safe and decent place to live. It is called Self-Improvement, the Basis for Community Development, and this book is Study Guide 1 through 9, Volume 1, by the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. Number 3, to electrify, revitalize, and resurrect black pride and decency among our people. 4, to create a black empowerment movement. And 5, to relieve our people of the burden of feeling compelled to comply with integration. How much more integration can the black community bear? No more. No more. This is killing us. How much more integration can the black community bear? No more. This is killing us. Thank you, appreciate it. And now we will start our program. The National Black Anthem will now be sung by Sister, which is Sister Noel. There she is. You have the floor, Sister.
Assalamu alaikum. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful. Brothers and sisters, I'd like to thank you all for coming, and I'd like to thank Brother Student Minister Tremont for allowing me to be a part of this great presentation. I received my assignment from him yesterday, and he said that he wanted me to talk on integration and black business. And to try to prepare for this talk, I needed some help. So I called my best friend who taught me black history at the University of Alabama in Birmingham, but he also worked for years at this institute cataloging civil rights stories and wrote 2 books from it, Dr. Horace Hunt. And when I called him, Dr. Hunt said, "I'll call you back." I called the editor of the black newspaper, Barnett Wright, and he said, "Brother William, go to Google." So finally I called my second best friend, Richard Finley, and he told me, he said, "All you got to do is go look at 4th Avenue. And I said, "Man, that's good advice." So that's all I have for you. I wanted to have the statistics and how many businesses is for and all that sociological stuff, but I guess I got to stick with history. See, 4th Avenue. Now I'm going to begin with the history, and I want to be brief. But you are sitting right here. 4th Avenue, for those of you who don't know, it was the business district for the black community before integration. Listen. Sitting right here with Dr. A.G. Gaston, a millionaire black man, once reputed to be the richest black man in America. This was the place that he had his first funeral home.
And as Brother Tremont said, most of all of you, and of course Brother Louis Ali, he calls into my blog talk radio show that I have every Thursday night on blogtalkradio.com, Elevated Places. And he is such an advocate of separation. We call him the separator. Go ahead. And I will be honest with you, my husband and I both, this is what really attracted us to the Nation of Islam. Absolutely. Both of us, and we did not know each other coming in, but when we met each other and realized that the attracting power of the Nation of Islam was really the desire to be among our own, and with our own. And you know, beloved, it is not natural, as much as I respect our brothers and sisters who are out here in the streets. But it is not the nature of man to be in a perpetual state of protest.
Right. Go ahead.
Protest is a stage of development that any living organism is capable of engaging in to protect itself as it grows into the ability to function independently.
Right.
The very nature of protest, beloved, means we are without power.
That's right. Go ahead.
The most effective protesters on this planet are babies.
Right. Go ahead.
I heard Minister Farrakhan say, babies are not humble.
No, sir.
Because it's amazing how Allah God, whether you know him as Allah, God, Jehovah, Christ, it's awesome how he balances everything.
Right.
And every creature has capabilities that it has strengths that make up for its weaknesses. So infants come out and they're completely dependent, but what they do possess is the power to completely disrupt the environment.
Right. Oh, yeah.
And make life a living hell for everyone in it until their needs are met. Children have that power. In fact, behavioral scientists have found that it takes approximately 9 times of intense demand from the child before the parent yields. I want that popsicle. I want it. And finally, just to quiet him down, he gets the popsicle. Well, that's the nature of protest. Its trait is to agitate, to disrupt. Now, there's a season for that, for any developing people. Yes. And for us, that season has come and gone.
Yes.
It has come and it has gone. It served its purpose, and we thank God for those of our parents and those before us who went out and laid their lives on the line so that we in this beautiful edifice today. But that's not God's goal for you. His goal for you is to fulfill your creative purpose. And when you are engaged in a perpetual cycle of protest, you can't think creatively. You can't come up with ideas of how to cure illnesses, or how to master languages, or build bridges, or clean out the lakes and the oceans, or produce clean, healthy food, because we're laying on a sidewalk somewhere. And the effect of that on our children becomes detrimental when it outlasts its season. Protest is out of season, and I can prove it in no limit of time. It's ineffective. How many young black men, young black women, brothers, sisters are going to be gunned down by the local arm of the U.S. military called the police department? We are told by our weaker leadership, oh, you need body cams. So we got the body cams. Now we get to watch our people being killed in HD. And it does not result in justice. A baby to me, 16, 17 years old, Antoine Rose, shot in the back by the Pittsburgh police. He is under the ground. His life is over. His family is devastated because each time one of us is killed like that, you devastate a family. You devastate a community. And now our children are being orientated to a life where they're wearing t-shirts at the age of 12 that say RIP.
That's right.
I grew all the way up to an adult and never knew anyone that was shot to death.
Wow. Go ahead.
I never knew anyone getting locked up.
Wow.
I'm like Brother William, I grew up in the 50s and 60s in Columbus, Ohio. My father's mother grew up in Aniana, Alabama.
Go ahead.
She was raped at the age of 13 by a member of what we're finding through this DNA ancestry tracing was a member of the Hewlett family of Hewlett-Packard. These multinational corporations were able to come into existence from our parents picking cotton and tobacco and in the rice fields and building homes and sewing clothing and teaching white people how to eat with a fork and spoon. Because while they were in the caves of Europe, we were kings and queens. Our children were playing with diamonds. So it is time to accept our role. What is our sacrifice?
This is a good question.
We're not picking cotton. No. We're not undergoing what Emmett Till suffered, the terror that he suffered as a 14-year-old. But because we have rejected Allah's messenger, Jehovah raised up Moses. This ain't the first time at the road.
That's right.
It is not as though we don't have a base in Scripture, both in the Holy Quran and the Bible, for what is happening now.
Right.
And so rejection of this doesn't emanate from an absence of intelligence and absence of logic. It's just outright rebellion against the will of God.
That's right. That's right.
Killer Mike said, and we love our brother, but brother, to say black people aren't ready.
That's right.
To separate. First of all, God don't care if you're ready.
Teach that.
He's having us vote.
That's right.
He doesn't have a separation committee.
Teach that.
He doesn't have a separation commission to research the viability.
Amen.
He said, come out of her, my brother.
That's right.
America is slated for destruction. You can take it or let it alone. You can pretend that all that is going on, culminating in the election of Donald Trump, which proves this country's going down. When you put somebody like that in the seat of leadership.
Wow.
So even if you take the issue of their history out of it, we're not saying to hate white people. We're saying you need to get away from them because they're going down. And it's dangerous to be around them at this time. Now, July 4th, in a few days, white folks are celebrating the Declaration of Independence. Those of us that want to emulate them, well, they did this. This is what they wrote, and this is written almost exclusively by Thomas Jefferson. When, in the course of human events, it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the political bands which have connected them with another, and to assume among the powers of the earth the separate and equal station to which the laws of nature and nature's God entitle them. A decent respect for the opinions of mankind requires that they should declare the causes which impel them to the separation. How long have we been here?
That's right.
Wow.
That's right.
4 centuries.
This is
13 generations.
That's right.
So separation is number 4 of the Muslim program. It goes into action after you've been denied 1, 2, and 3.
That's right.
Right.
You don't see their daughters. You don't see their wives. You only see the males.
That's right.
And they are selling cigarettes and alcohol and guns and drugs and molesting our young girls. And then at night, those bags of cash disappear into the night. They don't even think enough of us to put up a sign that's neat. There's no symmetry in the black community. If you're in doubt about who Minister Farrakhan is, the fact that the biggest mouth in America has been silent. It hasn't said a word. Personally, just to share my unwanted opinion, I think he wanted to answer him. And I think he was surrounded by people who have been around. And they said, don't you do it. They may even have rigged the systems so he thought he was tweeting him and it didn't. Leave them people alone. Okay? You do not know what you are dealing with. But I say this to you, beloved, and then we will open up for discussion. Brother Lewis, I think, is going to ask some questions. But it's not just you asking questions. We need your insight and your input. And I will say this, Minister Farrakhan already gave us some initiatives. If you go back to the 20th anniversary of the Million Man March, and you go to his message at the Holy Day of Atonement, October 10th, 2015. Because unless some benevolent Caucasian is in office or in Congress, we don't know what our condition is from day to day.
That's right.
That's true.
Because we won't get up and do for self. We beg the mayor, the governor, the council, the police chief. Could you please do right by us? Right. No, we need to do right by ourselves. And if you refuse to go, you're going to have a problem.
That's right. That's right.
Somebody on the street calling people MFs and big, excuse me, brother.
Yes, sir.
No, sir.
That's right.
No, sir. Woman walking down the street with nothing on. Excuse me. Ma'am, you're going to have to go home and get dressed.
That's right.
That's right. Go ahead.
You know, in civilized society, there's something called indecent exposure.
Right.
You don't come out in civilized society with the cheeks. I don't mean these cheeks.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, ma'am, you got to go back in the house.
Right.
Well, I don't have that. We have a place where we'll give you a skirt and a blouse. And we're not saying you got to have your eyes covered up. But sister, please.
That's right.
A nation can rise no higher than its woman.